Hi, everyone. So I thought it might be worth our time, since we're starting this week a really great case study called Chemical Eric, which is focused primarily on feedback loops, negative feedback loops specifically. And the endocrine system is full of negative feedback loops. If you want great examples of feedback loops, you need look no further than the endocrine system. So I wanted to take a few minutes to just kind of walk you through this feedback loop that you see here between the hypothalamus that we see sort of internally in the brain, the anterior pituitary, which hangs off the base of the brain, and then in this particular case, the testes, the male sex organs. So um, this is actually a feedback loop that you saw on your endocrine system POGL from last week. Those of you who haven't done it, this will kind of give you a few pointers that will help you get through it. So the hypothalamus here is obviously very important. We've talked about its role in homeostasis, and we've also talked about its role in stimulating the anterior pituitary gland. And it does this through releasing hormones. Now, they work just the same as the tropic hormones that we've discussed in that they stimulate another gland to secrete its hormones. In this particular case, the specific gland that it always stimulates is the anterior pituitary gland. And in this particular case, we see that the hypothalamus releases gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is GnRH for short. And if we break down this word gonadotropin, the gonads refer to the sex organs, the organs that release sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone for females from the ovaries, and testosterone for males from the testes. And tropin refers to a tropic hormone. And so this hormone is going to trigger the release of a gonadotropin from the anterior pituitary gland. So it starts there. The hypothalamus releases GnRH, and then the anterior pituitary here releases a hormone which in males we often refer to as interstitial cell stimulating hormone, or ICSH. Now, we call it that in males because its target cells are the interstitial cells of the testes, which are the ones that release testosterone. You may have also heard this referred to as LH, or luteinizing hormone, because it stimulates the formation of the corpus luteum, which sort of signals the second part of the menstrual cycle in females. We'll be getting more into that probably next week. So now we've released ICSH, or LH, from the pituitary, and its target organ to which it's going to travel through the bloodstream again is the testes. And the testes, when they receive ICSH in high enough quantities, are going to release testosterone. And testosterone does many things, helps promote the development of sperm, helps to promote male sexual functions. So we're talking the development of secondary sexual characteristics, the deepening of the voice, the development of body hair, the development of muscle mass, all of those things that we associate with puberty in males. And so up until this point, these light-colored arrows represent stimulation. So the hypothalamus releases GnRH, which stimulates the anterior pituitary to release ICSH, or LH again, and this hormone stimulates the testes to secrete testosterone. Testosterone, in turn, stimulates the development of secondary sex characteristics in males. So, here's where the negative feedback loop comes into play. If we have enough testosterone to bring about the changes that happen during puberty, to produce healthy sperm, to make sure that a male is ready to reproduce, then the amount of testosterone that's present in the bloodstream actually sends a signal back to the hypothalamus, which inhibits the release of further hormones. So at this point, if we have enough testosterone, we don't need to make more. So we're going to send a signal to the hypothalamus that says, you can stop releasing GnRH for a while because we don't need to make more testosterone. And so if we had too little testosterone, there would be a signal sent to the hypothalamus to secrete more GnRH. And that would eventually, as we go further on down the line, result in the release of more testosterone. Once that level of testosterone got to its normal level, to its set point, we would then send a signal back to the hypothalamus that said, we can chill for a while and stop releasing GnRH. So if GnRH is no longer produced, the pituitary never gets a signal to produce ICSH or LH, and the testes never get a signal to secrete testosterone. Then, if the level of testosterone after a while goes too low, we send a signal back to the hypothalamus to start the process over again. GnRH gets released, the anterior pituitary gets that signal and starts producing more ICSH. The testes receive that signal and then start producing more testosterone. And on we go. And that ensures that the level of testosterone, as long as all these glands are working properly, will remain at within a narrow range of where it should be. So, hopefully that was a good review of negative feedback with specific reference to the anterior pituitary and the role that it has in this process. And you'll be learning so much more about the anterior pituitary this week in our case study. Hope that helps. Have a great week.